Welcome to What's Going On, the weekly podcast and videocast of First United Methodist Church in Yankton, South Dakota. Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of What's Going On. I'm Pastor Katie here at First United Methodist, and I'm glad you could join me for this episode. And welcome to season 6 of What's Going On, meaning that this is year 6, beginning of year 6 in my ministry here at First United Methodist in Yankton. And I am also back from my renewal leave. And so it's good to be with you. It feels a little bit strange to be back and talking to my computer once again, but I know that there are going to be people on the other side listening, and so I'm happy to be here. I thought in this episode, we'll talk a little bit about things that are going on in the church, what we have coming up, and a little bit about my time away, which you will also be hearing more about in my sermon on August 17th. Because I am not preaching this Sunday, August 10th. Instead, we are going to be joining Trinity Lutheran and Yankton UCC for worship down at Riverside Park at the amphitheater at 8:30 in the morning. So this is an hour and a half earlier than we typically have had worship in the last couple of years, but I know that you can do it. It's a very casual worship service. We're going to have contemporary music provided both by Trinity, also with some of our members of our praise team. They're going to be joining together, so that's really exciting. After worship, we will be having a catered brunch down at the park as well, so you don't even have to worry about getting breakfast in before that early time. You'll be able to eat afterward. Also, if you have kids, make sure they're bringing their backpacks, because it is going to be backpack blessing for this service as well. And believe it or not, school is coming. We're just over a week away before school starts here in Yankton, and so we want to honor our kids and send them off on the right foot with prayer and support from their churches. So that is happening this Sunday, again, August 10th, not here at the church. If it is raining, we will be at Trinity Lutheran. Again, the time is the same, 8:30 worship service with a brunch following, and then that service also includes the backpack blessing. So I hope that you're able to make it. It's a wonderful time for our churches to gather together. These are the same churches that we do VBS together. We do Loads of Love together. We work really well together. And so it's nice to gather and to have this ecumenical experience once in a while. So also, if you hadn't seen or heard, Trinity's associate pastor, Pastor Michael Jordan, is going to be moving in September to the Twin Cities. And so it's also a wonderful time to be able to thank him for his service here in Yankton and to bid him a good farewell as well. So that is what is happening this Sunday. Just looking ahead, we've got 605 is getting planned, and we've got Sunday school teachers in place. I know that they are looking for donations still for supplies, and so if you're able to help with that, there is a table when you walk in the church that where they're gathering those supplies for 605, and we'd love to have you help with that. I know that they are also going to be looking for some other types of volunteers. And so if you are available on Wednesday nights and want to support this important ministry of our church, please consider, and we'll have more information put out about what those are. I believe that we are doing a kind of kickoff parent night on September. Let me look at my calendar real fast. September 3rd. So you can come and make sure your kids are registered and find out kind of what's going to be happening. And then the 10th is the real kickoff, the first night of full 605. So I want to say a huge thank you to our Sunday school teachers for sort of organizing themselves, and a special shout out to Gina Brandt, who I know has been doing a lot of organizing work behind the scenes. We currently do not have a children's coordinator on staff. If that's something that you feel strongly or passionately about, or if you know someone who you think would be a great fit, please come talk to me or talk to one of the members of leadership team. We want to make sure that we put the right person in this role, and we are really grateful to our teachers for stepping up and kind of covering this until that happens. And so Um, again, September 3rd will be sort of find out about things September 10th, first full night of 605. On the 7th of September, we are going to be handing out Bibles in worship to the kids who haven't gotten them yet. So we want to make sure that they're all there for that. And so if you are part of that group, that it's time for you to get your Bibles, know that you'll be contacted. If you don't hear from us and you think that there's been an oversight, please let us know. Also, we have a new person taking on the 605 meals, and so that's Lori Bailey. So huge thank you to Lori for taking on that role. That's she's got some really big shoes to fill. Carol Becker had served in that volunteer position faithfully for a long time. And so we are grateful to Lori. Lori is a wonderful part of our church, and in her day job she runs the food out at the monastery, so she's very experienced and knowledgeable. And if you are interested in helping Lori out or interested in what kind of donations that she might need for 605 meals this year, please talk to her, and we'll get out those lists as well of things that we could use. And again, if you aren't able to support our 605 ministry with your presence and your time, would you consider supporting it with your donations? That would be wonderful. And then just looking ahead into September, we'll be kicking off confirmation the same time as 605. So for those in confirmation, I'm bringing back Pastor Book Club. So I have decided on the September book, which is called I Guess I Haven't Learned That Yet by Shauna Niequist. I love Shauna's writing. I think she's incredible, thoughtful, and it's kind of her story of where she is in life right now. And I think it'll be a really good read, a really interesting, thought-provoking, but entertaining as well. So, and we'll meet at the end of September. So September 29th will be the first Pastor Book Club meeting. So that'll be happening. I'm still working on finding the right study for our Tuesday lunch studies. But those will come back in September as well, as soon as I figure out what we're going to do to kick that off. We are also going to be starting a sermon series on the 24th of August called Context. And I'm really excited about this series. It's going to be looking at some really well-known passages and kind of how we use them and misuse them, and how important context is, instead of just proof texting something or plucking one verse out and applying it wherever we want, understanding how it fits into the larger narrative. And so I'm excited for that series. I think that's going to be awesome. I've been working on kind of planning out series. I'm into Advent, believe it or not. So I'm really excited for where we're headed in worship this year. At least this fall is what I've been working on. So that is really great. Sorry, I'm looking at my calendar. We have some awesome mission opportunities coming up in September. We have Loads of Love, which is kind of one of our mainstay consistent missions right here in Yankton, a way for us to be in relationship and service to the people right here who are in need. And so I've been watching over the summer, and I want to say a huge thank you to those who are still trying that out and volunteering. And I hope that if you've not taken the opportunity to give that a try, that you will. I know that there's going to be some need in September. And so if you haven't done it, please consider signing up. It's a 2.5 hour, 2 hour shift. I mean, it's really not too bad. And we'd love to have you be a part of this incredible thing that we're doing and sharing, because providing laundry, it gives us an opportunity to connect with people, to hear their stories, to understand a little bit more. And you get to understand how in providing this thing and laundry, it frees up them to be able to maybe get a few more groceries or to pay a bill that they wouldn't be able to pay otherwise, or things like that. And so it really is helping to meet needs in a creative way. And so that's happening. We have the banquet coming back in September. We're going to be serving on Thursday, September 18th. So you're going to be seeing more about that coming up as far as sign up to volunteer for it and sign up for food donations and things like that. I'm really excited to be back on the schedule with the banquet. So that I want you to mark your calendars for September 18th for that. And then also we are in talks with Tree of Life for doing a mission trip out there. And it's going to require some skilled laborers for some of the needs that they have, but they're also, if you want to tag along, if you're not the skilled person, I'm sure that they'd find something useful for you to do to be able to support their mission and ministry as well. Tree of Life is located on the Rosebud Reservation and services the indigenous people there and the tribes there. And so we want to continually explore how to be a church in mission now and what that looks like, but that takes you to be a part of that. And so please prayerfully consider if that's the right opportunity for you. Perhaps Loads of Love or the banquet are the right opportunities for you, more local. Or if there's something else that's really burning on your heart, I want to know about it. I'd love to hear about it and see how we can partner together. I've been really excited that since I've been back, people have been sharing some of their sort of dreams and ideas and bold, like, hey, I've got this thing that I think would be so cool. Let's see what we can do together. I think there's a lot of opportunity. And so I want to try to make some of these things happen if we can. So, and I don't know why we couldn't. So let's see what we can do together. So those are some of the things that are coming up. I'm sure youth group is in there as well. My guess is youth group's going to kick off the same time as 605 and everything else. And so that is for, again, students 6 through 12. Tiffany has already been meeting with them. And so she kind of had a kickoff event already, or at least a summer event already this last week here. Yeah, love our youth. They're amazing. So those are some of the things that are coming up and happening. Obviously, I will tell you more as we get more information, as things get a little bit more settled, but I wanted you to be aware of those, that we are going to hit the ground running here. So I'm going to take a moment then to switch back to a little bit about my summer. And first of all, to say thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your understanding, for letting me take this renewal leave time. It was not an easy thing for me to do, if I'm being honest. If I'm being really honest, it was something that I needed to do probably much sooner. But if you are anything like I am, being away, or the thought of being away, there's so much work, and it just felt like there was never the right time, and there were too many things in the air, and I never felt like I could be away without feeling guilty. So I just kept pushing it off, and it got to the point where my district superintendent in our one-on-one meeting last summer said, I think it's really time for you to do this. You're overdue. You've had a lot on your plate. And I'm so grateful that the conference has been so encouraging for clergy to do this and make it possible for us to do this. So I just want to give credit where credit is due. Thank you, Brandon Better, for your encouragement. Quite literally offering me the timeline for it. So I am grateful to that. So my last little bit that I worked was we had VBS jointly with Trinity and UCC, and my last Sunday preaching was for our VBS worship in the park. So I thought it was kind of fun that I'm bookending my time, that I ended in the park and we start back in a different park here in Yankton in joint services. But it's been a gift for me as well to come back and not knowing I don't have to preach this week and can just tend to things that have kind of cropped up over the summer. So and then I went to annual conference, and that was a very busy time for me. I'm in this new role I guess it's not so new anymore. I've been in it about a year now, but as the chair of the Board of Ordained Ministry, annual conference is a very different experience. I have a lot more responsibility, a lot more events, and I felt like I was just running nonstop, going from thing to thing and hosting events and meals and meetings and all kinds of things. So it was a good experience, but it was a very overwhelming experience as well. And so I was very grateful to go from annual conference to leave. That actually helped a lot. Some of the things that I did while on renewal leave, so I did have to write like a proposal uh, so I could get some grant money. And one of the main focuses for my renewal leave was on spiritual direction. And so one of the things I've done over the summer is I have done spiritual direction at Sacred Heart Monastery with Sister Sharon Ann. And I cannot say enough wonderful things about um, the sisters and what they offer and their hospitality and their kindness. Um, we have a wonderful resource and wonderful partners here in Yankton in our sisters, and I'm there's part of me that's a little bit angry with myself because this is something I could have utilized a lot sooner. And just because I didn't really know how it worked or if I would be received well there or, all these things that seem so silly now that I've experienced it, but kept me from doing it much sooner. Um, but that is something that I focused on over the summer was taking time to have spiritual conversations for me and being the one in the receiving role rather than the one that is often in the shepherding role. And so that was really, really wonderful. And if uh, I would just encourage you that if that's something that you might be interested in, or if you're feeling like I just need a day or two away to really just center myself in God, they have amazing resources that, you can take a day retreat there. It's right in town. It's so amazing. So it's a way to get away without having to get away. Like, and so that was one of the things I focused on. I also did I one of the first things I ended up doing, and I had written it in my proposal, was to do some work for my parents. My parents are getting older and have some things that needed to get done that it wasn't really super safe for them to do. And the main one was painting their garage. And my dad was getting very anxious about it. So I literally did that like my second day of leave. I drove up to Arlington, I climbed up the ladder, and I was painting the top portions of their garage. Um, and so I did my duty as a good daughter as well. I also spent some time at church camp with my boys. We went to Lake Poncet, and I was there as a volunteer, as adult shepherd, and I enjoy getting to spend time there with them and getting to pour into to not only my children but to other children and to share such a wonderful place that has meant so much to me in my life. And it's my hope that they come away feeling the same way as well, that God is truly there and truly meeting them in that time. But also just to have fun. I mean, we got to go swimming and play in the sand, and Ben was looking for arrowheads in the rocks, and to just have space to be present and to be in the moment and to not be worried about what is happening uh, at the church or at home or anything. I feel like that's been a real gift over the summer. If you've talked to me, you've also known that a good portion of my summer has also been dealt in potty training. If you were in church this past Sunday, you heard my daughter talk about it, that she's going potty in the potty. That is an ongoing training that is happening, and I feel like I've spent more of my summer dealing with that than anything else. But it's been good to have, again, that time and space to be able to be mom. And oftentimes I feel like I'm not as present with them as I want to be. So having that was really, it's been useful and good. And then we also took a family vacation out to the Black Hills for a week. And again, we just packed in so many memories and so many good things. And again, just that being able to be present, to be in the moment, to be fully with my family. Uh, that has been such a gift. And that's something that I feel like I want to bring back. Um, I feel like in my time in ministry in Yankton, I haven't always been able to show up in the way that I have hoped, in the way that I've intended, in the way that I've wanted. That too often big things have gotten in the way that never really truly allow me to be present because there's always a piece of my brain that was worried about X, Y, or Z. And you know that we've dealt with a variety of things over the last few years, and it's certainly affected how I've shown up in ministry. And it's not the way that I had wanted to. And so it is my hope in coming off of this break, one, to model for you the importance of rest and renewal and rhythms that allow that. And so I'm going to be much more intentional about using my vacation time for that purpose. But two, to be more present and to be less anxious, uh, to be less worried that um, whatever we have in front of us, that somehow this is uh, for me personally to solve and not for God to work through. I feel like there's just been a fundamental shift in my brain a little bit around, um, and I think it helped being away and the church. You know, you guys are still here. It didn't burn down. It didn't fall apart. It's still here. Um, and some really cool things have been happening because sometimes I think I can get in the way of God working. I think if I'm being honest, we all can do that. We think that it's up to us to figure these things out when God is saying, let me do what I do. Let me work in the hearts of those who need it and give them space to actually do or to come forward. Um, and so that's one of my hopes moving forward is one to be able to tend to my own spirit a little bit better. Um, I've known for a long time that people in service kind of careers tend to not care for themselves well. Uh, I am one of those people. So I want to do that so that I show up in the best way that I can. And that reminding myself that it's not selfish to do so, and that it's actually quite selfish to not do it because then you guys aren't getting the best of me, and I want that for all of us. Um, but then to also just be more present and grateful and understanding how God is at work in your life, how God is at work in our church, where the Spirit is moving, how the giftings that are there that are not being utilized. Um, I'm just much more interested right now in listening, in really hearing you, in tending to you. Um, we're still going to be offering the things that, like I said, that we have, and I hope that you are excited about the things that we're doing and who we are as a church. But know that I am also, if you want to grab coffee, grab lunch, grab breakfast, spend 20 minutes hanging out with me in my office. I've got a couch right over here. Um, I would really love that. I know there's so many of you that I still have yet to know in a way that I think would be wonderful. And to hear your heart and to hear your stories and to hear your passion and your concerns and your worry, yeah, all of it. I want to know all of it. And so I hope that you hear that in me, that that's a big part of um, what I've come away with is a desire to be more present, to be less caught up in the what ifs, because God is good and God is faithful. And God can handle the big things, and we can do our work of loving each other well. And so that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm also really looking forward to school starting, not gonna lie. I'm excited. I'm excited for the rhythm and the structure of the year. And so that's some of what I've learned. Um, is any of it groundbreaking? No. But sometimes we have to just come back to ourselves and remember who we are and remember um, what fills our cups. So with that, I hope to see you this Sunday out at Riverside Park. Um, and if not, I hope to see you on the 17th, and when I'll be back in the pulpit sharing a little bit more about renewal leave. And I believe there's a brunch after worship that day too, so even better. Until next time, God bless. Thank you for joining us for this episode of What's Going On, a video and audio podcast of First United Methodist Church in Yankton, South Dakota. We'd love to have you join us for worship on Sundays at 10 a.m., either in person or via our live stream, which can be found at our website, www.firstumcyankton.org, or by searching First UMC Yankton on YouTube.